From Virginia, Mr. Wittman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Secretary Colby, for joining us. I want to pick up where Senator Wicker left off. Taiwan is not mentioned in the National Defense Strategy, and what we say publicly and what's in a document really matter. You know that the Congress has provided $850 million in the Presidential Drawdown Authority for Taiwan. You know that we provided $1 billion in the Taiwan Security Cooperation Initiative. And despite clear congressional intent and even the direction in your strategy, it doesn't appear as though any of those dollars have been executed by the department. What's the status of that funding? And has any of it been spent on defense material, training, or equipment upgrades for Taiwan?
Congressman, I'm not exactly sure about exactly the status, so let me commit to get back to you with detailed information.
Well, you told Senator Wicker 48 hours ago that you would do the same, that you would get back to him. So you're telling us that in 48 hours,
you still got within the 48-hour window, sir. So we'll make sure we're within that window or barely over it, and I'll ask your forgiveness if that's the case.
It's concerning to me that within 48 hours, when you promised Senator Wicker that you'd get that information, that it's not forthcoming. Take
that responsibility to engage with you seriously, sir.
I want to get your perspective, too, on our efforts to work with partners and how we enable our partners. The President's asked our allies to do more. To their credit in NATO, they've all anteed up and said that they're going to do their 5%, some of them at different paces. But by 2035, looks like everybody's going to be in line with that. We ask Europe to take the lead in what we're doing to counter Russia. And our message should, I think, be crystal clear. If we step up and make investments in the defense in cooperation with our NATO allies, and we need to be selling Europe our best weapons to make sure that they're in line with what the threat is on the Russian side, and I believe the President's America First Arms Transfer Executive Order sends that clear signal. But if our American allies can't buy U.S. weapons, I worry they're going to be in a really, really bad spot because there's no other place to go, and we certainly don't want them going to other folks out there. Tell me this, what's the message to our allies like the Baltic states or Poland that are meeting or exceeding the 5% target? They're all in, but are being told U.S. weapons that they purchased are being delayed or not prioritized. So they're all in, they have the money, they've paid for it, and now they're being told, by the way, you're not going to get the weapons. Somehow the priority list has been changed and somebody else is higher on the priority list, and yet we see an even greater threat by Russia and what they're doing to build their defense industrial base, which creates an even greater threat, and yet we're not doing the things that we're lecturing the Europeans about doing and not providing them weapons. Give us a perspective on how we're going to close
Sure.
that gap.
Well, actually, Congressman, the way you laid it out, I think is pretty similar to how we see it. I mean, I think we're in excellent, 2025 was about reframing. 2026, we're getting down to business. The Europeans are moving. I can say that from personal experience, not least in Brussels and Munich, as well as Asian allies like South Korea. And I think we're optimistic about Japan, Australia, and New Zealand as well. We are ahead of this problem. We share your sense of urgency coming down from the President. I think we've got three main things we're focusing on. One is the President's historic proposal for a $1.5 trillion defense budget. That is a massive signal of the seriousness with which he and we all take the situation, conscious of the resource issues that Mr. Smith mentioned, but that's a signal of how serious it is. Second, money is a critical predicate, but it's insufficient. We need to have better performance from defense industry, and that's why the President is convening defense industry leaders tomorrow. You have from the President, the Secretary, the Deputy Secretary, Undersecretary Duffy was here yesterday, absolute commitment to getting better performance, and I think you're seeing a lot of progress because we all need to know, we want to be able to get our services where there are unacceptable timeline delays, but also green, our allies. And this is not a situation where there's picking and choosing and try to poke at people. We need everybody to be able to get what they need faster. And this, sir, is where I would turn it around to you and to the Congress, is where we all need to lean in together, also with our allies. This is where the conversation is. If I may say, some of the conversation in the last few minutes has been a little bit backward-looking. Where we are and where our allies' conversation is NATO 3.0, let's get down to business. For instance, we're talking very closely with the Germans about how they're about to make a very significant investments in defense. How do we scale that together to get the best outcome for both of us? Also recognizing that while we need American industry to be eligible in European and other markets, there's also going to be growth in the European and allied defense space, and that's actually to all of our benefit. That's where we're heading. I'm confident that under President Trump's leadership, we will be able to get through this transition, but we did need to have the clarity and continue to need to have that clarity. But if you look at Secretary General Rutte, he's singing from the same sheet of music as we all are.
Very good. Thank you. I'll reiterate, too, that the chairman's focus on this year's NDA is growing the industrial base to make sure we can do those
Absolutely,
things.
Chief.
We have to do that at the speed of
Completely
relevance.
support that as well, sir.
Mr. Chairman, with that, I yield back.